Hey, here we go. We're live here at the Johnny Cole HBCU Stroll. I'm here with my son. Well, tell me your name.
Carter Cole.
Hey, you forgot the JC. All right, we here today, and man, we had a great weekend this weekend. We had the Black College
It's still weekend.
championship game, and it was one of the best games. If you wasn't there, if you didn't see it, you missed a treat. Both teams, North Carolina Central and Jackson State, played down to the wire. And just like any championship game that you want to go, it came to overtime. It had all the festival things that you would want to see in a championship game: a last second play, a drop ball at the end, great running game by North Carolina Central. Uh, Both teams fought back and forth. Two great coaches. Uh, it was just a great game, and they had the largest crowd that ever watched a Black College Championship game. That was 49,000 at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Today I got a treat for you. Uh, he's my homeboy from Ohio. Matter of fact, Dayton, Ohio. Great player, great student. Uh, the last couple of years, he's been living out his suitcase. He's built himself up. Uh, Athletic director at Eureka, athletic director at Edward Waters College. Now he's the athletic director at Alabama A&M. My friend and a truly good man, Paul Bryant.
Hey, what's up, Coach Cole?
What's going on, man? Look, hey, I've been down in the South a long time. I told you that. It's good to have some fresh blood from up top.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That Dayton, Ohio blood.
Yeah. Man, I want to thank you for, spending this time on your break to come on the show. You know, our show is live, of course, and
Yes.
I ain't gonna put you in the hot seat too much, but we'll talk swag ball and first I just want to talk about you. From Dayton, Ohio, big time player, big
Yes,
time
sir.
player in the Dayton area.
Yes, sir.
You know, where'd you go to high school then?
So from went to Patterson High School, Patterson Co-op High School. There's no more Patterson, but I had a excellent upbringing. Been in the Dayton public school system, and I always say I am a DPS kid, and been raised in Dayton, and went to Patterson Cooperative High School.
I always ask my guys, since now, when well, not when I was coming up, they call it the blue chip. Then they call it the star. And then, were you a Power Five player coming out of high school? What would you rank yourself?
You know what? Actually, I thought I was a better football player than I was basketball player. But my junior year, I tore up my ankle, and so I couldn't play my senior year in football. But so then I had to uh, really start honing in my skills in basketball. I thought I was a solid D2 player. I really did, and I ended up going to junior college in at North Idaho College and playing, and then finished up at Alaska Pacific University. But I I didn't really realize how talented I was until after I got out of college.
Oh
And
wow,
yeah, I really didn't. But I was fine doing what I was doing.
right, right. And how did you get to Urbana or Eureka?
Yeah. So I was the basketball coach at Sinclair for once I graduated, was there for about 6 years. I don't know if you remember Don Bean and Mike Violet. They were basketball coaches. They were my high school coaches, and and when I went to I was at Sinclair, and then got a promotion to go to Urbana University to be their basketball coach, and
Right.
then I said I really at Urbana I was the associate AD, and then got a chance to fill in to be the interim AD for about 7 months at Urbana, and I said, you know what, this is the route I wanted to go, and
Right.
so then I applied at Eureka and got that athletics director's job.
Wow. Now, no, what's the difference between being a head coach and being the athletic director of all the programs?
Yeah. The biggest difference was initially, I got a chance, being a basketball coach, I was able to impact about 15 young men's lives. Now, being an AD, I'm able to impact about 400. And
Right.
so that has always been the difference. The problem was I was a head basketball coach, and then having to watch someone else coach basketball, and I see things, and I'm like, no, you can't do that. But that was
Wow.
the best part.
So if I'm a basketball coach, I'm listening. I'm saying, "Woo, man, I might not want him as my AD. I ain't gonna do nothing right."
And it's a gift and a curse. It's a gift because I know basketball. It's a curse because I know basketball.
Wow. So did you ever play on the next level, or you just kind of went from college into your career?
So I was out in Seattle, and I was playing on their summer league team, and but back then they had Dana Barrows. I was a guard. I was a center in high school. Then I had to move to guard in college.
Wow.
That's when they had Dana Barrows and those guys. And to be honest, I knew I was not good enough. But I knew I had my intelligence, and I knew I could start my career back then.
So, so tell me, your strong point was what in basketball? Was you a shooter? Was you a ball handler? Just a smart player?
I was a jumper. I had a 42-inch vertical, and so I could out jump anyone. As a 6'3" center in high school, I can out jump you. But then when I got to college, I had a 7-foot center, and I knew I couldn't play that. So there's a guy, Greg Galding and Jerry Remblert. Those guys, we played to get JUCO together, and we played high school, Greg and I, but then we played JUCO together, and they told me I had to move to guard, and they worked with me, and I became a point guard and point shooting guard, and so, but I could still out jump people, and so my coach would really post me up with the little guards.
Yeah. Mismatch.
Yeah.
Now, what are some of the famous guys you don't played against?
Oh, well, Joey Johnson was my most famous person. I always say Joey had a 50-inch vertical. His son played for Arizona, then his son is playing in the league. Ron Harper, from home. Craig Elo, who Michael Jordan hit that shot over.
Right. That's what he's famous for.
Yes, exactly. Back then it was I played with the Davis boys.
Okay.
Played against a lot of guys, but
see, Paul, they don't know about Dayton, little old Dayton, Ohio.
No, Cedric Tony.
Yeah. And we still have produced the best high school player ever in Dwight Anderson.
Dwight Anderson.
I don't know if you got a chance to watch him in it.
Oh, I watched him, then played against him, and once I came back home. But you know what I always say, Michael Jordan, he has his 6 championships, had a Dayton guy on each team, and was responsible for a lot of that. His first 3 was John Paxton.
John Paxton.
His next 3 was Ron Harper.
Right.
So
I played against Jim.
Yeah, Dayton, Ohio was integral in his success.
Yeah. So you leave there and you enter into Black College.
Yep.
Edward Waters. Your Black College experience when you got in there.
Yeah, my very first Black college experience was at Stillman College.
Okay.
So I leave Eureka and go to Stillman College, and the first thing that really caught me was the homecoming. It was fantastic. And then I left there and went to South Carolina State University, and their homecoming is just off the chain. It's probably one of the best places that I've been, with South Carolina State University. And then I left and went to Grambling. And, of course, the Bayou Classic, that was phenomenal. And then I went to Edward Waters. Edward Waters transitioned them from NAIA to the NCAA Division II. But then, and that's when Alabama A&M called. And I have been so blessed to be a part. I like the acronym that FUBU had, For Us, By Us. And that's what I truly believe that has been my calling, to really create opportunities for us. And so I'm excited to do that.
Right. Well, speaking of that, and I was going to get into it since you opened the door, there's been 19 football jobs open. and there's only one black coach. And we all up in arms about should Dion should have went and should have not went and all that. When really the big picture is none of us are being hired, and you're sitting in that position as well. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts are you're exactly right. At the PWI's predominantly white institutions, it's hard for us to get opportunities, right? And so having him getting that opportunity to coach at a Power Five, I think that's a blessing, because that's something that we have fought for. Now we have raised our level of awareness in our HBCUs. And so, yes, if I were in his situation, I understand the culture. I understand why people are so passionate about staying here. I get it. But you know what? He had to do something that was going to benefit his family more than what it has. And you go from $300,000 a year to $300,000 a month. Yeah, that'll change your mindset a little bit. And then, but people are not talking about what he's actually done. He's taken 5 HBCU coaches with him.
Right.
And remember, we haven't gotten that opportunity at that next level.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that and just give you a little history because I've been around the SWAC for 40 years.
Right.
He is the third coach
Yep.
that have left a college and went to a Division I school. He's as a head coach.
Right.
He's the only coach that left and went to a Power 5 institution since they've been given their names and numbers. And he's the first coach, like you just said, to take 5 HBCU guys with him,
Right.
because we're not getting those opportunities.
That's correct.
And while we fussing and fighting why he should and shouldn't, we all should be on his side, rooting him on to let them know that our football is triangle, our football is made out of leather. It's 100 yards long, and that we can organize and we can put things together.
You're right.
My thing and what your respect on this is 90% of all athletic directors don't look like you and me,
Right.
are in the PWI schools. I think that's an issue. We need somebody in the room.
That's right. I agree. I think yes, we're going to continue at our historical Black colleges and university. We're going to continue to promote people that look like us. I think too, and I'm proud to be where I am. I'm very happy to be where I am. I think that at the predominantly white institutions, we need to have more representation of us at that level as well. And no, we typically don't get all the opportunities, but when we do, I think we make the best. You look at Gene Smith from the Ohio State University.
Yes, sir.
He has done a phenomenal job at creating a different environment and providing opportunities for the minorities as well. He's done a great job, and we have plenty more. I know that. I can't think of her name, who's at Vanderbilt. She's now the athletic director. But what they're doing when they do get in those positions, they are pulling up, and that's what we have to do, not just holistically at a predominantly white and here at our HBCUs. We got to promote and pull up as we grow.
Well, ain't no. And before we even go on about this black, we're talking about qualified people.
Absolutely.
We're talking about qualified people. So I want to make sure that we clear that up.
Yep.
You're in a position, you're meeting with the other black college HBCU ADs, and now Dion being a pro guy.
Yep.
And we gave him this opportunity because that's what we never, you said something earlier about we realize who we are.
Yep.
And as soon as we realize who we are and our duties as black people to go support our black schools, we'll be better off. There's no Deion Sanders if there's no Jackson State.
Right.
So what do I say to a kid that we're saying, come to a black school,
Right.
but once you graduate from here, if you don't play pro ball, you're not good enough to coach here.
Well, I tell you this, I will never say that, and I tell you, I I think we have the opportunity when we recruit our student athletes. We want them to not only come here and play, come and graduate, come and we want you to become an outstanding alum. But if I can't give you the opportunity, let's look for our network of HBCUs to give you that opportunity. To your point, they are not getting that opportunity. So when they're going to the Power Five schools and they graduate, a lot of them don't get the opportunity to coach at their institution. They'll tell you, no, yeah, you're fine that you played here. You're fine that you gave us your blood, sweat, and tears. However, you need to go coach somewhere else. That is a telltale. And I disagree with that mindset. But I'm saying now at a historical Black college or university, not only can you come, not only will you graduate, not only will we allow you to coach, but we will allow you to create your career here. We're a nurturing environment. That's something that they're not getting at the other institutions.
Right. Well, and that's why I was just asking you that because, I'm on the other side.
Yep.
And they're not only not hiring us as PWIs, and now we're in this big old bubble of pro, non-pro, alumni. They're not even hiring athletic directors. They're not even hiring athletic directors that look like you. So, you kind of look at it, and Paul, I'm talking from the outside, like, why would you guys go and hire a guy from outside and they not even giving y'all opportunities? I don't know that thinking. Maybe you could share some thinking with me that could bring it, to make me understand.
Yeah. You know what? I can't really give you a significant answer on that. However, I will say, I am when I'm looking for the coach, a coach or at any sport or staff, I'm looking for the most qualified. And that's, we have a lot of, and everyone, well, let me go back. A lot of people are talking about the superstars, the NFL players who have coached. Let's talk football. We all know that there's only one Deion, right? But Deion has been doing that from day one. When he told that one team who said they were going to draft him, he said, "I'm going to make you pay so much you're not going to want. You're going to have to put me on layaway." Remember that? But that's that. So Deion, that's his mentality. That's his mindset from way back then.
Right.
But we have qualified coaches that have been through the ranks that will bring us championships, and not so much that we have to go to the most famous coaches. So I'm looking at the most qualified who can build a program and not a team. And I'm saying a program that's holistically from the academics to the community service to the actual playing, the results on the playing field. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. When I listen to your perspective of it, and then when you look at your background, I could see that you're truly, I shouldn't use the word honest, but because you're speaking from your experience,
yes.
but which is great. I think a lot of times that these guys are getting in these athletic director positions, don't see it and don't look at it that way. Because as a Black college graduate myself, and see our opportunities the windows are closing, you kind of lose interest. And I always tell people, people give money to people. and I always tell my alma mater that we need to start hiring our own, and because when you go to Ohio State, when you go to these other places, they hire their own. It's just not Black folks.
That's right. That's true. That's true. They are. And again, for me, it's about the most qualified, stay within who we are. And I think that will make us successful. When we start recruiting you, it's called cradle to the grave. We want you to, we start from the cradle when we first make that contact. And then to the grave is when you do pass on, that you give a legacy back. but it's about how we treat you. And so if we're not treating you once you graduate the best, then there's not going to be anything that we reap once you're gone. And so I believe in that whole cradle to the grave mentality where we're really treating and presenting opportunities for those who have graduated from us.
Yeah, that's very important. So, talking about your style as a athletic director, what are some of the things that to you that needs to, like, I'm a coach. When I come in, I want to make sure, we get the building clean. I want to make sure that the kids dress a certain way. I want to make sure when they go to practice, we all gonna look the same. Those things. As an athletic director, you walk into Alabama A&M or the places you've been, and what are some of the things that you say, these are the things that I got to put in place?
Yeah, the first thing I do is I look at who we are as a team, as a program. That's all of our coaches, all of our staff. What are our thoughts? What is our mindset? And if our mindset is, oh yeah, we're here at Alabama A&M, then I'm gonna tell you up front, that is not the mindset I have and I want around me. I want the people to say, we are Alabama A&M. And my mentality is, I want to be successful. I want excellence from the time I walk in to the time I walk out. But if you have that mediocre and being satisfied, well, that's the Alabama A&M way. No, I don't need you on my team. I want that best type of thing. So when I walk in, I listen. I interview everybody on my team, and I just talk to you for about a half hour because I can get where your mindset is in a half hour. And I talk to every last one just to find out where they are. And some people have to move on. I always say, this is a bus. The bus is going to keep rolling. Now, There are seats on the bus. It may not just be the seat for you. Right. And so so as I look at how we're going to develop, these are the things I see. I look at our marketing. I look at how we educate. Coaches are educators. How do you educate your craft to your students? And then the biggest part is, are you passionate about what you do, and are you student-centered? If you're passionate and are student-centered, then you're going to make the right decision, because every decision is about students. Mm-hmm. And so as I approach every department, those are some of the key factors that I look at. And I'm proud to be a part of Alabama A&M because we have a cumulative student athlete GPA over a 3.2. And so and that's something that we want. Now we're going to start bringing the winning percentages up as well, and we're going to do better. But it's the mindset. We have to change the mindset, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. Well, one thing about Alabama A&M, they just a steady. Since they joined the SWAC, they just a steady, a program. On all levels. They're not going to be last.
No.
They're not going to be first.
We'll get there.
Always in the middle. They're always in the middle. I thought Alabama A&M has always been a first-class organization. Now, what are the things, I guess, I know I have a lot of coaches watching my show, that you look into choosing a coach?
Yeah. First thing I wanted, recruiting is the lifeblood of athletics. And so I want to know what your recruiting base is. I want to know that you are able to connect with the student athletes. I want to know what your recruiting strategies are. And so as I talk to coaches, that's the first thing I ask is, what are your recruiting strategies? And give me your base of where you recruit. And so I'm different. I always ask a coach, recruit me. I need you to recruit me. Pretend I'm your student athlete. I want to hear your recruiting speech for Alabama A&M, not as just a generic. I need to know your recruiting speech. Right. And then I look for how you actually manage your team. And that's critical. That's critical. And the type of discipline that you would display in running your team. You mentioned earlier how consistent, everyone is the same. You practice, you look the same. You're dressing one way. I don't like everyone dressing different ways coming to practice.
Right.
And so again, I'm a guy who looks for those particular things. And then when you get here, I evaluate you in practice, not in the games, because the practice is when it actually happens. The
Right.
game is just showtime.
Yeah. One of the things that me and you talked about hiring a coach, and one of the words you used was discipline. I mean, you use it's political.
Yep.
So when saying that, of course, everything's political, and when you hire a coach, people gonna say something anyway. You can hire Dion at A&M, somebody gonna say something. You can hire Nick Saban, somebody gonna say something.
Absolutely.
Well, how much does winning play a role in politics? Do I say, because it seems like, Paul, that the PWI schools, they put winning first.
Yep.
When you talk about a coach,
Right.
We're not trying to hire the Pope. We're not trying to hire, some Baptist men. We want a football coach.
Right.
And we'll deal with the rest. Because I don't know. I'll let you say that, and then I'll give my reason. I think why as well. So, what is your take on that?
Well, I think okay, the political piece. Everything is political.
Yeah.
For me, I look at I want to win, but I know that it takes total resources to do that.
Oh yeah.
And so when we talk about winning, I'll give you an example. At an institution, I'm begging them to win, or I don't want to say begging. I'm demanding them to win. But then I look at the resources that they had. I know I'm not providing the resources for them to win. Prime example, at Edward Waters, we were giving out 17 scholarships at the Division II. And we're expecting them to compete with the other schools that are given 35. But I'm hearing, why aren't they winning? Well, let me tell you why. And then, I remember the president at the time called me up at 11:30 at night, said, hey, why did we get beat that bad on national TV? Well, let me tell you exactly why. Well, here's the reason. We have 17 scholarships. They have 35. Right. We have 2 full-time coaches. They have 7. Right. And so, when you start looking at the program holistically, right, then you can give a really an educated answer on why you're not successful. So when I look at, are we going to win? I look at, okay, if I'm giving you every resource possible, you have equal to everyone, and then you're not winning, then I'm looking at you. But I look at that as a AD, I'm looking at making sure that I have the appropriate resources in place for you to be successful. So I can't ask you to go ahead and knock someone out, and they have boxing gloves and you have just mitts on. No, we got to make sure that we're equal in every way for everyone to be successful.
That's a great way to look at it, and let me sneak my little deal in. I was at Lane College and I had 7 scholarships, and I beat everybody. Not one year, but 2 years in a row. The only team beat me was Tuskegee and Albany State. But I get that, and right. I kind of and you're supposed to look at it that way,
right?
As athletic director, and I look at it as a coach that if I'm given the opportunity, and I do my homework on this university, and right, I understand what I'm getting myself into, and I don't think that when you accept a job at 7 scholarships and you know what you up against,
right?
For me, I don't see the excuses.
Right.
Now, once I start producing and showing you, because when I was at Lane, they had Dr. McClure. He did give me 4 more the next year. So the next year I went into 11 and was able to do a great job there. So when I talk about politics and stuff like that, sometimes people tend to not hire the most qualified person, but to hire maybe a friend of theirs or And I know it's a lot of pressure on you because there's a lot of layers on top of you as well. That you have to convince. And being an athletic director, I understand it, especially at HBCU. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, so, what is your driving force when it comes to fundraising,
Mhm. Mhm. I
and
think,
what you could tell an HBCU graduate?
yeah. I think one of the things that we have to do as a whole, fundraising, although I don't think this is the main answer, but we have to increase our giving back as an alum group, right? But that's just a part of it. But our value now has been elevated over the last, I would say, in my opinion only, when Trump was elected president, I think the focus have been because he was trying to separate. I think the HBCUs began to elevate, and it was just that's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. and,
That's
uh,
right. That's
and,
right.
and I think that now our value, we begin to really truly understand our value, who we are, what we have to offer, and so now I'm able to go out and sell who we are and what we have to offer. We purchase as merchants, we purchase billions and billions of things, and uh,
$3 trillion last year. Yeah,
trillions, and
yeah.
so we have to begin to stand strong about, well, our money is spendable as well. And so something I've done just a couple weeks ago, someone wanted to give us a contract for a game. And it's like, well, wait a minute. I'm not going to settle for what you want to give us. Here's what we bring to the table. And when I say it was triple the amount that we had, what they offered, they gave me triple the amount of, but I had to say, no, I will not accept that offer.
Right,
And this is what I expect. And do
right.
you know they did not balk at my triple the offer? So that tells me you knew from the beginning that you were lowballing us, and that's something that we have to do different. So when I go out and fundraise, I am really selling the value of what we have. And so what the price was, as they old saying, what the price was yesterday is totally different than what it is today.
Right,
And
right.
so and so I do rely on relationships and getting in to talk to people to raise more dollars.
Yeah. I when I was at Texas Southern in 2010, we got 475 from Rutgers. So I'm giving you that tip. So 10, 13 years later, it showing up shouldn't be nowhere near that.
No,
It
exactly.
should,
Prime,
it should
prime
be
example about the previous administration did a deal here for us to play Auburn in another year, and the price that Auburn gave us was 500,000. Now, now, Johnny Cole, you know as well as I that is far lower than what we should be
right,
getting.
right.
And so I did reach out because I'm saying, okay, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I understand what y'all thought, but
right.
and we have a contract, so there may not be anything that can be done. However, I'm going to broach it as, come on, we need to
Yeah,
we need to do a
yeah.
little bit better than this, at least 1.2,
At the least.
at the least 1.2. Correct.
I've heard Dion, and he was bringing that out, and that stuff has been out with
Yes.
some people uh, that knows better. If you don't know no better, you don't do better. And and some of those contracts that were being accepted by HBCUs, it was by people just didn't know no better.
That's right.
But when you know better, you'll do better.
You do better. You're
And
exactly right.
and it ain't no question that those schools can offer way much, and we need that. See, and what I want to say, Dion was making those talking, and he had a point, but the difference is Jackson State never had a problem with fan base.
No,
And
never.
he's right, they could make 300, 400,000 in a weekend.
Yeah,
But when
absolutely.
you start talking about your Mississippi Valleys, your Pine Bluffs, they need those classics.
Yeah, you're
But
right.
the person that's making those deals, and I'm pretty sure if you was in there, and I see the way that you talk, you know, you can't take the deal and then turn back and say, oh, that's why to me, when you deal with promoters, you deal on a percentage.
Yeah, exactly.
40-40 promoter, you get 20.
That's
So
right.
if that game grows, we grow, he grows, we all good.
Yep.
You and I think back at the Southern Heritage, I know Fred real well. I played in the Southern Heritage a couple of years. He was still working on old school of here's your 275,000. Don't worry about what I get.
No, no.
So you have to be a promoter and a producer as well as in your spot as an athletic director.
Absolutely. And so one of the things that I do, I'm not that guy who just accepts when a promoter tells me, okay, you get one promoter 33, 33, 33. No, 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 no. No, we're the product. So no, we're the product. You are promoting the product.
Right.
And so if it's not us, it wouldn't be you. And so, or event. So let's start changing the mindset now. We're the ones who actually out there performing. So we're going to get our performance fee. When I in my seat, I have to do what's best for Alabama A&M, and I am going to do what's best for Alabama A&M, and that is in all negotiations. I need to know what's best for us. How we're going to benefit from this deal that we're doing. And so, yes, I'm a little shrewd when it comes to that, but I got to make sure that we're getting our just due. And I'm not settling for just what you have to immediately offer. No, you could do better. And I said this in my press conference. If I do business with you, you have to do business with me. How are you going to give back to me? And I say me, I'm talking about the institution. How are you going to give back to the institution? Because you've been taking us for a while. Now it's time for us to take back.
Yeah. How much do you allow your coach to play a part in that, or is it? I know you're just not saying it's your decision, but
right.
Does the head coach play a role in that as well?
Absolutely. I allow my coaches to anything I do. I take it. I talk to all my head coaches in each sport about their particular area. So I say, okay, what do you think is the best deal that we need to solidify this game? And I hear them, and a lot of times they're a lot lower than what I would want. So I will say, okay, well, if you're saying that we need to be at 35%, then I'm going to say no, we need to be at 40, and that's what I want to push. And so I will say the majority of the time, they are a lot lower than what I want. But they are all inclusive in every decision I make because it's not a singular decision. It's a team decision.
Yeah, that's good. Do you guys how important it is to do end of the year? I know you do your end of the year evaluation. Do you also use or do when a guy leaves your program, a coach leave your program?
Yes, we do. We do those post departure surveys. Kind of a conversation piece about what went right, what went wrong. And a lot of times, we don't do them a lot with the if we're separating from them, but if they're separating from us, then that's what we do. And a lot of times, the reason why I say that is because a lot of times they don't want to have that conversation when we're separating with them. But I do that with not only faculty, staff, or staff. I do that with our students as well. When they're talking about they want to leave and they're leaving, I ask them some particular questions on why and what would be different. I do that with my seniors when they're graduating. Just the post exit interview. So I'm able to garner some great suggestions. And I tell people, don't make emotional suggestions, make factual, make some logistical suggestions. And again, I've been able to garner some outstanding ideas, and we turn around and implement what they've stated.
So I met you after the the athletic directors meeting,
Yep.
and I appreciate that.
Yep.
We was able to chop it up Dayton, Ohio style.
Yes, sir.
What's on the new horizon for the SWAC? SWAC athletics.
Yeah.
Well, that's some of the things that you could kind of discuss with us.
Yeah, I think what we're going to see an enormous elevation with the SWAC. Something that I'm what I heard. Now I can't say exactly what it was, but what I heard was I'm excited to be a part of it. And so everyone, when we talk about elevate our game, everyone is going to have to elevate their game. I think our commissioner, Dr. Charles McClellan, is doing a phenomenal job there. He's creating a pathway, and I think he has the blueprint to do it. You know, we're going to be the highest, or we are the top FCS conference that pays their institution at the highest level. And so we're getting dollars from our conference that we hadn't before. There are marketing opportunities that he has created that is getting us sponsorship, where several years ago, prior to him taking over, we had less than $1 million way less than $1 million.
Discretionary funds.
Yes, we had way less.
Yeah.
Now we're way more. We 6-7 million.
Right.
And that's something that he's created from the time he's gotten here. So, I'm a fan of Dr. Charles McClellan. I tease him all the time because I say, well, listen, I was part of the AD crew that allowed you to get that job. So I'm a fan, though. He's doing a phenomenal job.
Well, good. I heard he was able to help out Mississippi Valley State.
Yeah,
I'm a SWAC guy now. I probably was in that meeting. You didn't know it.
Right.
I got friends with a whole bunch of important people. I
Yes.
spoke with the CEO over HBCU Gold.tv.
Oh, yeah.
And we sit down and talked about his master plan, because one of the things that I'm trying to do is become an analyst, of the game.
Right.
But I understand that they're trying to put together the all black conferences and to create a playoff for the Black College National Championship game. I think we're talking about bringing in 8 teams from the SIAC, CIAA, the SWAC, and the MEAC, and have a playoff. How you feel about that? You think that's we can get that done in a way that we can raise some money?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the things that we need to do. We need to create. So as we talk about who do you know that has been in the FCS championships? Like, a lot of people can't answer that, but we know who was in the Celebration Bowl, right? And so when I was at South Carolina State, it was the year before I got there. They had played in the FCS championships. They hosted Furman. When they hosted Furman, they went in the whole $35,000.
Yeah.
And so then the next year, we started the Celebration Bowl. And everyone talked about how ridiculous it was for us to get out of the NCAA. However, each institution was guaranteed $1 million. Now, remember, the year before, we were just $35,000 in the hole, and we hosted it.
Right.
And so now the opportunity to create our own bowl series, I think it's critical. I think we need those Division IIs. We got the CIAA, SIAC. I think it's a natural fit to play in those particular bowls, and we get more money in doing so.
Yeah, I think those Division IIs is going to have to probably put more SWAC and MEAC teams on their schedule, just for people. You can't say, you can't be a Division II and then you play NAIA schools on your open day and say, okay, I'm 12-0. Well, you only had 2 tough teams in the SIC. I cried that same fight when I ended up at Texas Southern. We didn't win the national title, and that's when they were just voting the national title in. They ended up giving it to Albany State. That I felt that that year we played Rutgers and we played another Division I team, and we ended up only losing the Prairie View. So picking out that final 8, those schedule changes probably got to be a part of it as well.
Absolutely. And so I think if we do a couple of cross playing, the SIC and the CIAA,
Hmm.
that will help. But again, you're looking at the SWAC schools. We're playing. We have a full schedule, and we are able to add 1 or 2 games to play CIAA or SIAC. Like this year, I'm playing Lane College, and that's giving them an opportunity to come up, and we give them a few
Right.
to play, but then we can create our own type of series. And so I think it's important that we stay together, we stick together, we start scheduling together so that we won't have to play these big games that really a lot of times I still can't remember a lot of our schools being very successful in the large money games. Like we played Vanderbilt this year, Alabama A&M, and again, a couple of years we'll play Auburn. But now, I'm gonna tell you now, we're not gonna back down though. We're
Right.
gonna
Right.
come in ready to play. But in the grand scheme of things, I will prefer to play in another MEAC SWAC where we will have another homecoming type environment like the Celebration Bowl.
Right, right, right. Well, I'm gonna be the devil's advocate.
Okay.
How you feel about playing a big school? Do it looks like you prostituting? Of course, you hear some of the naysayers like, "Oh, we're prostituting our players to make money." Do the money from those games, does it go to general fund or does it go back to the athletic fund?
It comes to the athletic fund here at Alabama A&M.
Oh,
So,
wow.
which helps out.
Woo.
Yes, yes. And so having that opportunity, even at Edward Waters, while I was there, the dollars come back to the athletics department. And so what we do, there are bills that we have to pay,
Right.
within the athletics departments, and that's what we do. And so we utilize our other funds to really pay those bills, and then like our uniforms are creating. All our apparel, our equipment in our weight room. That's what we use to get those things from those game guarantees.
Wow, you got off the seat on that one. Right, that's all right because most of the time, those funds go to the general fund that don't athletics never see. I think that's fair that they do that.
Yeah, but I think it becomes a two-part because I look at it holistically now. So the institution has already given the
Right.
department certain amount of dollars, right? So when people say that, well, the money goes back to the general fund is really to help other areas because the institution has already given the athletic department a certain amount of dollars. And so I understand it from a holistic.
It sounds like robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Well,
they front you the money to start your program off, and you say, all right, I need to get that at the end.
Correct. So it's like they're giving you a loan, right? And so you have to fulfill the requirements of that loan. Right. and that's the way it is. And so I mean that's the nature of the business. But our fundraise dollars actually come in our foundation where we can utilize to get some things as well.
If I'm a young coach, I'm a young guy, and
Yep.
I see, man, I didn't play pro ball, but I'm grinding. I'm trying to get it right. Paul Bryant, I need your help.
Yeah.
What you telling the young guy?
Well, I'm telling you, make sure that you're ready. First of all, make sure, and I say ready. Make sure you got your education. You are hungry for some experience. Sometimes you got to play that. I'm only saying this, not saying that this is what you have to do. The GA part, the GA role, the graduate assistant role, you may have to do some things where you don't get a lot of money, but get in the game and keep grinding. And trust me, you will be seen. There's a guy who's at the Division I now. I forgot what school he's at now, but Shaka Smart, basketball player, coach. I'm sorry. Shaka worked at the University of Dayton while I was at Sinclair. Shaka was the GA, and now Shaka went from really grinding to now one of the top coaches. He left Texas, and I don't remember what school he's at now, but he's at a Power 5.
Right.
And so I will just say, keep grinding. It's going to happen. And no matter where you are, you can be seen wherever you are, and you can be promoted to a different level. I look for those hungry guys, those guys who really want to work, who really want to get in the trenches. That's who I look for. And you know what my issue is when I'm at a game. Yes, I was just at the game this weekend, but I also look at the assistant coaches. I look at how are the players reacting to you as an assistant coach. I'm at basketball games. I don't watch the game. I watch the coaches, and I look at the assistant coaches a lot of the time because I want to see who's going to be the next head coach.
Yeah.
And so keep grinding, keep working.
Coach, I see you. DPS taught us well, Coach.
It did. My Dayton Public School education, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah. So what's next for Paul Bryant?
Yes, I think what's next for me is to create this winning environment up here. And I mean, again, we have it academically. Now it's time to put forth that athletic prowess where I really want to dominate the SWAC. I want in every sport, though. I want to make sure that we're in the top 2 in every sport. And so that's what's next for me. I'm here for the long haul to get this thing done.
Yeah. That's good to hear. Alabama A&M has always been a first class program. The way they've done things, the way they show up,
First class,
and show up all the time. And I want to thank you for all what you do. And man, some people wouldn't take this interview. I've had some guys shy away from it because I talk about the real stuff. I talk about the black and white issues.
Yeah.
They there. You can't run from them. You got to run towards them. That's the only way that we can get over the hump.
That's right.
We can't get over the hump shying away thinking we're going to be the next black guy get a white job. But I don't want to talk about that because they might not give me a chance. They might think I'm militant. I'm not militant at all.
No.
I'm being the youngest son of 9 boys, I know what it is to grind and some of the things that you talked about. But we'll definitely keep in touch. Good luck with the rest of your career. It's basketball season.
Yes, sir.
It's your season.
Yes, it is. Yes,
I got to meet your head coach because I know, boy, he can feel your eyes watching him.
And you know what's crazy? He literally, while we're talking, just called me, and I know he wants to talk about the game because we're going up to play Ohio State here next week, and
wow.
Yeah. So we play Illinois. We played them tough, but that's what I like about my coach, though. He understands. I know basketball. He used to be at Wright State when I was at Sinclair.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So he knows I know basketball, and he's a guy. He's not threatened by it at all. He's the one. Hey, tell me something. Did you see? And I'm like, Coach, honestly, I ain't even watched the game because I'm watching everything else.
Yeah. I'll tell Mark Parker. Me and Mark played together at Dayton Dunbar.
Mark.
Yeah, that used to be my guy.
Is that right? Yeah, Parker. Parker knows.
Bradley,
Brad.
We had great guys from those days. And make sure I tell Lyle. He probably watching now.
Yeah, Coach Lyle. You know what? That's my guy. He gave me Cornelius Cash, and I tell you what, Cash he's been one of the best players I had, and just a great person. So yeah, your brother, he's something else though.
Hey, tell the family I said hello.
Well,
and we'll chop it up. We'll continue when you come this way. If you're in Texas, let me know, man. I'll definitely make my way down there.
All right, brother. I sure will. I appreciate you, Johnny, and
thank you.
I love all the Coles, and you guys are great people. So I appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Go.
Hey, that was the day. My homie Paul Bryant, athletic director. Hopefully, you guys got some great information on that political side of choosing a coach, political side of what you need to do to support Black colleges and how things work. Again, I had a great time this weekend in ATL. Looking forward to basketball season. And we'll stay in touch. And if you feel yourself at the end of the rope, tie a knot, because ain't nobody bad like you.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Monday, and we're back at it. It's December 19th, 2022. Number 1. The House Committee investigating the January 6 attack on the U.S. Capitol met over the weekend to discuss potential criminal referrals which could be passed on to the Department of Justice. And they will meet Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern to vote on potential recommendations to the Justice Department to prosecute suspects for their roles. Among the charges the committee is expected to recommend are insurrection, obstruction of an official proceeding of Congress, and conspiracy to defraud the United States government. The bipartisan committee, made up of 7 Democrats and 2 Republicans, is expected to vote on its final report and potential referrals Monday before releasing its final report Wednesday, December 21st. Number 2. History was made by Harvard University last week with the announcement that for the very first time in its almost 400-year history, a Black woman will lead the prestigious university. Dr. Claudine Gay received her Ph.D. in government from Harvard and returned as a professor in 2006. Currently, she is the Dean of Harvard's Faculty of Arts and Sciences, and she will assume her new position on July 1st, 2023. This daughter of Haitian immigrants is regarded as a leading voice on the issue of American political participation. Number 3, California will stop making companies pay employees who cannot work because they caught the coronavirus while on the job. For the past 2 years, the California workplace regulators have tried to slow the spread of the coronavirus by requiring infected workers to stay home, while also guaranteeing them that they will still get paid. But Thursday, the California Occupational Safety and Health Standards Board voted to end that rule in 2023, in part because that rule has just become more difficult to enforce. Number 4, on Halloween of 2022, Field Training Officer Jay Nguyen and his trainee officer Y. Prophet responded to reports of a public indecency in the northwest area of Atlanta, Georgia neighborhood. Officers found a Black man wearing pants too loose to cover his body, and instead of writing the man a citation, Officer Jay Nguyen took him to Walmart to buy him some clothes. Body camera footage shows Officer Nguyen walking into the store, picking out a new shirt and pants and a pair of comfortable shoes after the man told him his feet hurt. Number 5, it's Christmas time, the season for giving, and here's a gift you can give to someone and it won't cost you a dime. On Ministry Monday, may we recommend the gift of forgiveness. In the Bible, forgiveness is a release or a dismissal of something. You are letting that thing go. There are 4 characteristics to biblical forgiveness. Read more about it in today's Ministry Monday column in the What You Need to Know newsletter. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. The less negativity you allow, the more peace you will have. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with sports agents you've not seen before, Rashida Liberty, Leslie Martin, and Joyvin Malvin Griffin. A conversation incredible with these ladies. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SybilWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.